so the scribes and the Pharisees came from Jerusalem to check out what Jesus was doing. Like, I think they probably had reports. Maybe the Messiah's here. He's healing all these people. All this stuff is happening. People are raised from the dead. All this is going on. So they go up to say, okay, let's see. They don't wash their hands, okay? And so they're there to check on Jesus, to see if he qualifies. And so you saw how the encounter went. And I like to think about how to win friends and influence people. So Jesus is just meeting these people. What does he say? You bunch of hypocrites. But he's just so straight up with them. He's so transparent. And as he confronts them, their crime is really, their blindness and their deafness. And again, we're not here to beat up the Pharisees. We're here to understand that we have the same nature as them. We have to be very careful about falling into the same pit as them. But what they have done is they have taken a nothing thing, wash your hands, and turned it into the highest thing. And why do they have to wash their hands? Because they might have been contaminated by the dirty people they were around. Those people. And so when they get away from those people, they have to wash themselves. And so Jesus is just disgusted with that attitude, first of all, and then secondly, with the idea that you're going to maximize washing your hands, and then you're going to take the law or the commandment, honor your father and your mother, and you're going to say, well, I don't have to do that. As long as I promise to give my life savings to the temple when I die, I don't have to take care of my parents. That was Korban. Can you see the insanity of that? Like, I'm going to be a really good Christian, but or Jew, but I don't have to follow the Ten Commandments. I just have to wash my hands when I've been around dirty people. And so Jesus is not happy with them, as was obvious. Now, today, I probably did this last year. I'm going to do it again this year. St. Paul Miki was a martyr in Japan. He was a Japanese convert to Christianity. He was a Jesuit. He was crucified. He was crucified with a number of his companions. And when he was crucified, there were witnesses there that recorded the event. And so this passage from the Liturgy of the Hours is an account of the martyrdom of St. Paul Miki. So I'm just going to read it for you, and just bear with me, but it is powerful. I think it's instructive and powerful. The crosses were set in place. Father Pasio and Father Rodriguez took turns encouraging the victims. Their steadfast behavior was wonderful to see. The Father Bursar stood motionless, his eyes turned heavenward. Brother Martin gave thanks to God's goodness by singing psalms. Again and again he repeated, "Into your hands, Lord, I entrust my life." Brother Francis Branco also thanked God in a loud voice. Brother Gonsalvo, in a very loud voice, kept saying the Our Father and the Hail Mary. Brother Paul Miki saw himself standing now in the noblest pulpit he had ever filled. To his congregation, he began by proclaiming himself a Japanese and a Jesuit. He was dying for the gospel he preached. He gave thanks to God for his wonderful blessing and ended his sermon with these words: "As I have come to this supreme moment of my life, I am sure none of you would suppose I want to deceive you, and so I tell you plainly, there is no way to be saved except the Christian way. My religion teaches me to pardon my enemies and all who have offended me, and I do gladly pardon the emperor and all who have sought my death. I beg them to seek baptism and be Christians themselves." Then he looked at his comrades and began to encourage them in their final struggle. Joy glowed in all of their faces, and in Lewis's most of all. When a Christian in the crowd cried out to him that he would soon be in heaven, his hands, his whole body strained upward with such joy, and every eye was fixed on him. Anthony, hanging at Lewis's side, looked toward heaven and called upon the holy names, Jesus, Mary. He began to sing the psalm, "Praise the Lord, you children." He learned it in catechism class in Nagasaki. They take care there to teach the children some psalms to help them with their catechism. Others kept repeating, "Jesus, Mary." Their faces were serene. Some of them even took to urging the people standing by to live worthy Christian lives. In these and other ways, they showed their readiness to die. Then, according to the Japanese custom, the 4 executioners began to unsheath their spears. At this dreadful sight, all the Christians cried out, "Jesus, Mary," and the storm of anguish weeping then rose to a banter to the very skies. The executioners killed them one by one thrust of the spear, then a second blow. It was over in a very short time. And so that is how the martyr that we celebrate today, Paul Miki, and his companions died, praising God, praying for their executioners, urging people to live a Christian life. Let us hear them as a model for our lives.